It is the final race of the season for Clio Cup Series and for the Italian Championship, as well as we look to round out our Series Junior and Challenger competitions and indeed the overall Italian and Italian Gentleman classifications here. 4 more titles to be settled for one final 25-minute plus 1 lap race around the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. As you can see, very different conditions to what we raced in yesterday. It is much drier out there. Here is how they line up. It is the multiple champion Nicola Milan who starts on pole position ahead of the Italian championship contender Alex Lancelotti. His brother Mattia starts in 3rd position ahead of outgoing champion David Pouget. Jack Byrne in 5th position, then Cristiano Riccarini. Gentleman class pole sitter up in 6th position. Nikola Milkovic, who was on pole position yesterday, starts in 7th ahead of Gabriele Torelli, the new series champion, and then the Italian championship leader Anthony Gerardo in 9th. Damiano Puccetti in 10th position. Mariano Alonso and Leonardo Arduini are on the 6th row of the grid. Stefani Ronnie, and Lorenzo Van Riet, Mid-Europe champion of this year in 14th, Giacomo Trebi in 15th, Guillaume Mao in 16th, Ben Jenikins in 17th, and Stefan Polderman in 18th, Mauro Polderman in 19th, Nava in 20th, Gianalberto Coldani and Mikhail Kari, gentleman class champion for this year in 22nd, Emir Sarak and Loic Labida in 24th position. Just behind them comes Francesco Pagano and Yusuf Garba on the 13th row of the grid. Then comes Ludovico Longoni and Michel Fay in 28th, Nicola Tosic in 29th, and then Andrea Chirichetti, Sandro Cutini, René Steenmitz, Sebastian Gavazza, Andrea Cordini, Milan Popovic, and Gabriel Alonso down in 36th position. And then there's one more page to go with Rolando Bordicini and the pseudonym Horn. Those 2 cars didn't set a lap time in qualifying, completing a 38-car field for this Clio Cup Series finale with the formation lap underway. We still have 4 championships to be determined out there for the junior classification of the overall series. It is between Leonardo and Arduini and Damiano Puccetti. Arduini leads by just 3 points in that category, but is starting 3rd amongst the junior class runners, and behind Puccetti there, the challenger class is between Guillaume Mao with 11 points over Lorenzo Van Riet. And again, it's advantage to the chaser in terms of the grid position. Starts 5th in category. The Italian championship between Anthony Gerardo, who leads by 12 points, to Alex Lancelotti. Lancelotti starting on the front row of the grid with Anthony Gerardo down in 9th position. And then lastly, the gentleman class in the Italian championship, Christian Riccarini, obviously putting himself in a very good position, 6th position overall. He leads by 7 points to Stefan Polderman. And yesterday's encounter came down to just 17 thousandths of a second between Alex Lancelotti and David Pouget in the latter's favour, as he took his 4th victory of the season in race 1. And then there was a slight amendment to the results with Jack Byrne, initially in 3rd position, but he inherited that from Nicola Milan. That penalty was later rescinded, and so that put the multiple Clio Cup champion back onto the podium, and of course he is now starting on pole position for this race as well. So it is a good day for the Milan competition team, but it was GPA Racing yesterday with not only the overall win, but also the challenger class win with Alex Lancelotti and the junior class win with Jack Byrne. So a pretty perfect weekend for day yesterday for the for David Pouget's GPA Racing squad. And it was Nava who ended up taking the gentleman class victory for MC Mototecnica in that number 53 car, but Nava starting a little bit further down the order for this one. So as we approach the end of the formation lap, it'll be a standing start for these cars. Now they'll blast their way down to the Variante del Rettifilo, unleashing the 1.3-litre turbocharged four-cylinder 200 brake horsepower engines. Similar engine to the sister Alpine Elf Cup series. That's a 1.8-litre turbocharged four-cylinder engine that pumps out a further 100 brake horsepower. These Clios do provide an awful lot of entertainment. The two Poldemans starting next to each other on the grid. Their father and son. So the last spits of wheel spin to get some heat in that Michelin rubber. And into the brakes as well. Those are going to be very crucial when we get down to the braking zone for the first time. And I can see that Alex Lancelotti, out of the commentary box window, has left quite a bit of space in his box, but not more than Mattia Lancelotti as well. They're not really pushing their luck with the... I will say Jack Byrne's probably overshot his, actually, and even David Pouget is trying to back up a little bit from his box. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Byrne is looked at for being out of position on his grid slot, because he's well over the grid markings out there. So we'll keep an eye out on that from race control. Of course, the junior class pole sitter there in 5th position overall. But we wait for the lights. Well, first of all, we wait for the rest of the grid to form up. It takes an awful long time to get 38 Clio Cup cars into position. It will be one final bout of 25 minutes plus one lap to determine the junior and challenger class titles in the overall series, the Italian Championship and the Italian Gentleman Class Championship. Now, as we have the green flag waved at the back and all 5 lights are now lit, we are underway for the season finale in the Clio Cup Series. It is a good start from pole sitter Nicola Milan, who should lead in the charge down towards the Rettifilo for the first time of asking. Plenty of shuffling and scraping of body panels further down in the order. But it is Nicola Milan who leads quite comfortably, with Mattia Lancelotti on the outside line trying to take second place away from Alex Lancelotti. The two brothers make contact, one car going straight on, some cars already arriving sideways into the Rettifilo. Luckily they all managed to escape, but there's more cars going through the polystyrene chicane than there are through the actual chicane. And off the road, that looks like the number 19 car of Gianalberto Coldini. That was off at the first chicane, but no question it is Nicola Milan who leads from Mattia Lancelotti. Alex Lancelotti in 3rd position, and then Nikola Milkovic has made a pretty good start up into 4th position as well. Remember, that was the car that was on pole position yesterday, but ended up taking quite a few track limits penalties. They're still shuffling their way through further back. Almost looked like it was 4 wide on the exit of the second chicane. Not sure you could even fit 4 Clio cars wide on the exit of the corner. But Nicola Milan out of the Lesmo 2, and there is, what is it, it's about 6 cars fighting for the lead. David Pouget in 5th position, and he was joined by Christian Riccarini there very closely, but we have yellow flags out already because the safety car has been deployed. The start is under investigation. No surprise there, but the safety car boards illuminated at track side, and so Nicola Milan is going to enjoy a few more corners of unpressured lead. With the two Lancelottis just behind him. The top 3 in Challenger are line astern there as well. The two Lancelottis. Matteo Lancelotti, best of the Italian and Challenger cars. So spinning round and arriving out of control. That is the 991 car of Ben Jenikins that was spun around and stranded in the middle of the road. A few cars just absolutely not getting stopped at all for the chicane, and deciding that going through the polystyrene chicane was better than going through the actual chicane. But there sadly is Gianalberto Coldini, whose race will go no further than the first corner. We await for news on how everyone else's start is being looked at as well. So end of the first lap, it is Nicola Milan, Matteo Lancelotti, Alex Lancelotti, Nikola Milkovic, David Pouget in 5th position. Christian Riccarini holding on to the gentleman class lead. Jack Byrne still in the junior class lead, but now in 7th position. Anthony Gerardo is 8th. Damiano Puccetti in 9th position, and then Gabriele Torelli rounding out the top 10. Third in the junior class category is Leonardo Arduini. So remember, the junior class category between Damiano Puccetti and Leonardo Arduini, and only 4 points between them. And so if it were to stay like that, oh, hang on, first time penalties coming in. Number 8 has a 10-second time penalty. That's Andrea Cordini. He is currently circulating in 27th position. And so would be a 5-point differential. No, it wouldn't, sorry. It would be, yeah, I think 5 points difference for Damiano Puccetti and Leonardo Arduini. So that should give it to Puccetti. Oh no, sorry, it'd be a 3-point difference. My mistake, because Jack Byrne is leading in that class. So it would still just be Leonardo Arduini's by 1 point if it were to stay like this in the junior class category. And then in Challenger as well, Lorenzo Van Riet would have to try and get a bit more of an advantage over Guillaume Mao. They are currently line astern in 12th and 13th overall in favour of Van Riet, but that would not be enough to close down the 12-point, or sorry, the 11-point lead that Guillaume Mao has in that category. So 20 minutes plus 1 lap to go. We've only had really half a lap of racing after needing the safety car to be deployed. It's surprising to see some of our front runners from so much of the year running slightly further down. I mean, Gabriele Torelli, don't want to say dominant champion, but quite comfortably champion in Paul Ricard last time out, down in 10th position at the moment, our series champion of this year. And of course, Anthony Gerardo, his teammate as well, only 8th at the moment. He's fighting for the Italian championship. Currently it would be, it's Matteo Lancialotti, fastest of the, not fastest, or best placed of the Italian runners, ahead of Alex. And then the, I think Anthony Gerardo is the next car up the road from them. So be 36 points, so 14 points. That would be enough to overturn Gerardo's championship lead in favour of Lancialotti. And there you can see the damage that has been done to the barriers and the polystyrene markers at the first chicane, which have had Clio Cup cars being ploughed through them. But the safety car will be in this lap, so we will get this season finale for the Clio Cup Series back underway. Just one more tour of the circuit, and Nicola Milan, it will be the multiple champion across various different of the Clio Series in France, Spain, Europe, and the overall series as well. He's had 15 Clio Cup titles to his name. Matteo Lancialotti, last year's Italian Challenger champion, but now looks like will be, or has yielded that one to Alex Lancialotti, who was crowned yesterday as was Michael Carey in the Gentleman Class Series. Worth remembering as well, of course, that Anthony Girardo fighting for the Italian Championship. If he was able to do so, it would mean that Rangoni Corsa would complete a sweep of the overall series, with Gabriele Torelli winning in the overall series in the French Championship, Lorenzo Van Riet in Mid-Europe, and Damiano Puccetti in the Spanish Championship. So, Nicolas Milan will lead the field. It'll be 16 minutes or so, plus a lap remaining in the race. When we get back going again, Milan is already letting the safety car go. The safety car lights are off, and of course the traditional weaving across the track to get the heat in the tyres after running at safety car speeds. When it's the moment that Nicolas Milan chooses to put his foot to the floor, surely the chasing pack is going to be absolutely hot on his heels, and Mattia Lanciolotti is definitely one of them. He's got a good restart against Nicolas Milan there. Now, he can't overtake before he gets to the start-finish line, so I'll have to stay in the wheel tracks for now, but surely Milan is going to be feeling the pressure when we get to the Rettifilo for the first time after this safety car restart. We are back green racing once again with 15.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and Milan doesn't even feel the need to go defensive. That's interesting, as Nikola Milkovic pulls to the outside for third position on Alex Lanciolotti. The Serbian trying to find himself the inside line through the second part of the chicane, and still they are side by side on the exit of the corner. But if Milkovic can hang it out around there, he will have himself the inside line by the time they get to the Della Roggia chicane. Of course, he's got to hang it out around the outside of the Curva Grande for now. That is still Milan who leads going into the Della Roggia. Mattia Lanciolotti in second, but it's David Pouget who's challenging into fourth position. I think he did clear Milkovic there and is into fourth. No, not quite. He was ahead of the timing line, but he's absolutely ahead of the Christian Riccarini car, but still it is Pouget in fifth position there, behind Milkovic, who didn't quite manage to get Alex Lanciolotti for that spot on the podium just yet. But that squabbling has created a little bit of distance between the two Lanciolotti brothers, about 3/4 of a second going on to the back straight. So Milan leads going into Ascari once again. Oh, a big lock up though for Lanciolotti. I think he was helped into that by Nikola Milkovic. He gathered the car up very nicely. It is Milkovic into third. Not sure how long that will stand for, with Lanciolotti now with big pressure from David Pouget behind him. The car's fanning out across the racetrack as we head back towards the Curva al Barretto. It is Alex Lanciolotti just hanging on to fourth place ahead of David Pouget, and then side by side between Damiano Puccetti and is that Anthony Girardo just behind them as well? Yes, it is. So the two going for one of the Series Junior drivers and the Italian championship leader going wheel to wheel through the Alboreto corner. See how much gap that's created between the top two. 1.6 seconds there is between Lanciolotti in second place and Milkovic in third. That's really great news for Milan and Lanciolotti. To the outside comes Alex Lanciolotti on Nikola Milkovic, trying to take that third place back. David Pouget has got Girardo for very close company as Damiano Puccetti gets driven into the side of and has to gather the car up on the exit of the corner. He's got two cars alongside him now on the exit of the Rettifilo and down towards the Curva Grande and the Della Roggia chicane as well. Absolutely incredible stuff. Jack Byrne is the car in the middle there as other cars are trying to show their nose in that fight. So down towards the Della Roggia once again, it's Gabriele Torelli who comes out on top in all of that. He was the car on the inside, and Lorenzo Van Riet, the Mid-Europe champion, cutting across the road there was Damiano Puccetti. Not sure that's going to be allowed to stand. So it is still side by side between Van Riet and Puccetti. Just behind them, bit of a wiggle from the car behind. So Puccetti has the line into Lesmo 2. And he just about hangs on to the spot. I think that is should be 9th position, being disputed between the two cars. Meanwhile, top two are pulling well clear going into Ascari. There was a little lock up there for Nicola Milan, again for Milkovic as well. Top two are now 2 seconds clear of the chasing pack, which is now Milkovic, Lancialotti, Pouget and Gerardo. Replay from further back as the 991 of Ben Jenikins had its second contact of the race and once again was facing the wrong way. Gerardo to the outside of David Pouget. How many times have we said that throughout this year? These two have had some incredible battles throughout the 2024 campaign, and it's Gerardo to the outside, the man going for the Italian Championship, trying to get around David Pouget, but into the gravel trap is the Rolando Bordaccini Rangoni Corsa car. Didn't quite see where that was, but that could be a second safety car intervention as still Gerardo and Pouget are door handle to door handle coming down the front straight and squabbling over 5th place going into the Rettifilio. Big lock up from Alex Lancialotti in his pursuit of Nicola Milkovic, but it's just about Pouget who hangs on to the spot somehow. Gabriele Torelli waiting in the wings as well, Gerardo's teammate and the overall series champion of this year. Still Pouget and Gerardo are not giving up the fight. The headlights are very much ablaze now as the light begins to fade. Now here comes Torelli, series champion, trying to split up this battle going into the Della Roggia. Has to just sit in behind his teammate. The two Rangoni Corsa cars trying to work together here as they have done for many times this season. Gerardo just about finally takes the place away from David Pouget, and so that is the Frenchman up into 5th place. Pouget still hands on to 6th ahead of Torelli. Lorenzo Van Riet right behind them as well, the Mid-Europe champion, ahead of Damiano Puccetti, who's trying to deny Gerardo the Italian championship. Trying to win the junior championship, I should say, sorry, but we're back under safety car conditions for that stricken Bordaccini car. So less than 10 minutes plus 1 lap left on the clock, and that, of course, is going to bridge the gap once again between the top two and the chasing pack that they were establishing. And that's down at Ascari, so that is where Bordaccini ended up. So while we're under safety car conditions, let's look back through the order. Nicola Milan leads in the Milan competition car. Matteo Lancialotti, best of the challengers. Oh, let's look about that in a second, because that's Nikola Tosic with some polystyrene stuck to his car. And, oh, there it goes. So he must have collected that from the first chicane. Yes, I must have picked that up from the first chicane and then has now deposited that a couple of 100 meters up the road at the second chicane. So that bit of polystyrene's been on quite the journey. But yeah, Nicola Milan leading, Matteo Lancialotti, best of the Challenger runners and best of the Italian series cars as well. Nicola Milkovic, second of the Challengers in the number 11 Tempo Racing car. Alex Lancialotti in 4th position in the sister GPA Racing car. It's GPA 2 and 4 and 6 at the moment, with Anthony Gerardo, the Italian championship leader for now, though, because if it were to stay like this, I do believe that well, actually Alex Lancialotti would be getting the points for second in the Italian championship, wouldn't he? So that would be 42 points to 36. So that should be enough for Gerardo to hang on to the lead in the Italian championship, but we'll keep an eye out on that. David Pouget is 6th, Gabriele Torelli is 7th, Lorenzo Van Riet in 8th, Damiano Puccetti, who's going for the junior championship, in 9th position. Leonardo Arduini, his nearest class rival, is in 13th position, but second of the juniors. And so with a 4-point lead between them, but that would be a 5-point gain for Leonardo Arduini. for Damiano Puccetti, I should say, who lost the lead in the championship yesterday, but I believe would take it back if it were to finish as it is. Jack Burns fallen down to third of the juniors, then Mauro Polderman. Christian Ricciarini is still leading the gentleman classification in 10th position overall, so very much on course for the gentleman class championship in the Italian series. But the safety car will be in this lap, so it'll be a bit of a mad dash to the finish to decide this final race of the 2024 Clio Cup Series. Nicola Milan will once again lead the field on this safety car restart, weaving to get the tyre temperature up as he was last time around. Now remember, Matteo Lanciolotti was working quite well with Nicola Milan to just try and pull away from the chasing pack. They did build 2 seconds over the chasing field, and maybe they were going to dispute it out amongst themselves later in the race, but for now the pack has been brought back to them, and Nicola Milan again will lead. How good is the restart going to be against Matteo Lanciolotti? Well, it seems like everyone managed to go with Milan that time around. So we're back racing once again in Monza for the final 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap of this Clio Cup Series finale, and Nicola Milan has got Matteo Lanciolotti all over the back of that Milan competition car, but also Nikola Milkovic is waiting in the wings as well. They are snaking across the road, but it is side by side with Matteo Lanciolotti to the outside, and Nikola Milkovic trying to find his way through the middle. The Serbian racer bangs wheels with Nicola Milan on the outside, has to cut across the escape road, as did Matteo Lanciolotti there. So Nicola Milan should come out in the lead. He does indeed. Milkovic deciding the discretion was the better part of valor there and slotting in behind with Anthony Gerardo, I think that was, who just popped up into 4th position ahead of Alex Lanciolotti. So the two going for the Italian Championship should now be line astern in the order. Yes, Gerardo is there, keeping it neat and tidy through the second part of the chicane. But Gerardo now in 4th and very much in a championship winning position now, as the best of the Italian scoring cars. David Pouget with very close company. I think that's Lorenzo Van Riet trying to get underneath the champion of last year's series in that 107 car. So last year's series champion going up against this year's Mid-Europe champion for 7th position overall. Here comes Gabriele Torelli now in that number 12 car on the inside of Alex Lanciolotti. So he's done his teammate a great favour there in putting a car between himself and his Italian championship rival for Anthony Gerardo. Less than 4 minutes plus a lap to go. This is going to be thick and fast action here in the Clio Cup Series. The top 4 starting to pull away a little bit, with Torelli trying to block Alex Lanciolotti going into the Alboreto corner once again, but it was Gerardo the aggressor on Matteo Lanciolotti for 3rd position, as Torelli hangs on ahead of Alex Lanciolotti, David Pouget and Lorenzo Van Riet going onto the straight, but surely he's going to get a bit mugged down the straight because he doesn't have much of a toe in front of him. Once again, the top 2 are absolutely line astern going across the timing line, but this time it's Milkovic who's the challenger to Nicola Milan for the lead, with Anthony Gerardo and Matteo Lanciolotti disputing 3rd position, just about a second behind them. There's Gerardo on the inside line going into the Rettifilio. Fastest lap of the race being done by Nikola Milkovic at 2:12.1. About 0.4 of a second away from the lap record here. Thought that might be going because of the new asphalt and the flatter curbs that have opened up the circuit. Torelli still hangs on, but David Pouget's been shuffled back. He's lost out to Lorenzo Van Riet, and I think he's about to lose out as well. But a drive-through penalty for Nikola Milkovic, the car in 2nd position. Doesn't necessarily say what that is for, but I can only assume it's for contact. Earlier in the race, it's been a real penalty-heavy race for Nikola Milkovic. Or weekend for Nikola Milkovic. He picked up, what was it, 2 5-second penalties and then a 10-second time penalty in yesterday's race. So the car in second position, and we'll have to take a drive-through penalty. That is going to release Nicola Milan and give him 1.5 seconds over the chasing pack. So it's going to be a real relief for Milan, who will end the season very much on a high. Second position in the championship, but only with one win to his name for the year, which is quite an astonishing thing to say when we talk about the man who's done so well in Clio Cup competition. You have to go all the way back to Portimao Race 1 for his last victory back in April. So that would be very, very surprising indeed, and it's not often you see someone lead from lights to flag in Clio Cup racing from pole position as well. Now, I will caution that a little bit, but there's going to be more time penalties for the number 11. So again, Nikola Milkovic with a time penalty. Also for the 48 and the 84. So Mattia Lanciolotti and Nicola Milan. My goodness me. So 5-second time penalty for the race leader and for Mattia Lanciolotti in 4th position as Nikola Milkovic is into the lead of the race now, and chasing them down now is Anthony Gerardo and Mattia Lanciolotti. Gerardo to the outside trying to get around the Milan competition car, leaning on 3 of those Michelin tyres as he cocks a wheel through the right-hander, and on the inside on the exit of the corner does get through on Nicola Milan. So that does now effectively put Anthony Gerardo into the lead of the into the lead of the race and the Italian Championship, having also just done the fastest lap of the race, 2:11.947 for him as well. It is more dramas for Milan Popovic, the other Serbian in the field, as he's slowing down as Nicola Milan tries to get second place back from Anthony Gerardo. Remember, Nikola Milkovic not only has a 5-second time penalty, but he also has to serve a drive-through as well in that number 11 car from Tempo Racing. As we are on the penultimate lap of the race, the clock is hitting 0 now, so it'll be one more tour of the circuit, one more tour for the season. Milkovic was really right up on the curbs at Lesmo 2, and Lorenzo Van Riet kicking up a little bit of the gravel on the exit of Lesmo 2 as well. In 7th position, trying to stay ahead of David Pouget. Milkovic still hangs on to the lead for now. This will be his last opportunity to serve that drive-through penalty. Something tells me he's not going to do it. So that will be converted into a post-race time penalty. With Anthony Gerardo closing him down on the run towards the Alboreto corner for the penultimate time. Absolutely nothing separating Nicola Milan still in 3rd position with Mattia Lanciolotti, Gabriele Torelli, Alex Lanciolotti, Lorenzo Van Riet and David Pouget. Milan taking the very wide line on the way into the Alboreto curve, trying to line himself for the exit, but it is just 5.793 kilometers to go in the 2024 Clio Cup Series with 4 championships to be decided. It is Nikola Milkovic who does not serve the drive-through penalty, so that will be converted into a post-race time penalty, but Gerardo is the best placed car here. He's the only one in the top 4 without a time penalty or any other kind of penalty to serve. He was bump drafting the Tempo Racing car down the front straight and eventually pulls to the outside for the Rettifilio chicane. Gabriele Torelli now with a new lap record, 2:11.6 for the Rangoni Corsa driver. Fastest lap of the race in 5th position, but Anthony Gerardo trying to take the lead away from Nikola Milkovic on the run towards the 2nd chicane for the final time. Here are the leaders, and pulling out to the outside is Nicola Milan as well, but didn't quite manage to draw alongside his countryman going into the Della Roggia for the final time of asking. It's all being extremely well behaved now up at the front of the field as Nikola Milkovic continues to lead. But he will drop down the order with not only his 5-second time penalty, but also a converted drive-through as well. So it looks like it's going Gerardo's way no matter what happens, because Milan has also got a penalty, as does Mattia Lanciolotti. So down the Seraglio for the final time. And Anthony Gerardo on course for the Italian Championship ahead of Alex Lanciolotti. It will be a clean sweep for Rangoni Corsa. Oh, big lock up though for Nicola Milan, almost into the back of Anthony Gerardo, who are hop skipping and jumping over the curves, as was Milkovic. Is there one more opportunity for Anthony Girardot to try and take the lead away. He's flashing the lights against the Tempo Racing car. Alex Lancelotti is pulling out of the slipstream in 6th position, trying to get ahead of Gabriele Torelli, and his brother was giving him a little bit of slipstream there down the straight, but it's side by side for the lead of the race. Anthony Girardot to the outside of the Alboreto corner. Milkovic will hold the inside line, side by side for the lead of the race. The final corner of the 2024 Clio Cup Series, and Girardot hasn't been able to do it, but can Milan snatch second at the line? It will be Nikola Milkovic on the road taking the victory. Milan just pips Girardot into second place by 0.02 of a second, but on the corrected timing, it will be Anthony Girardot with the victory and the Italian Class Championship as well, ahead of Alex Lancelotti. It is a clean sweep for the Rangoni Corsa team. Gabriele Torelli in the Series and the French Championship. Lorenzo Van Riet in mid-Europe, Damiano Puccetti in Spain, and now Anthony Girardot in the Italian Championship as well. A perfect year for the Italian squad. So Milkovic thinks he's won, and unfortunately he's going to get some quite bad news as the timing screen does now update to make it a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 with Gabriele Torelli in second position. One final drive-through penalty for Francesco Pagano. Doesn't change the order too much, but Gabriele Torelli now second with David Pouget on the podium. The Challenger class victory, now Lorenzo Van Riet's taking the victory. Where was Guillaume Mao in 5th position? I think that has given it to Lorenzo Van Riet. I think he's overcome that 11-point lead, and we'll have a look as it's 20 for the win, and so he should have taken 12 out of him there. Well, we'll get confirmation later, but for now it's Anthony Girardot leading a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 in the Clio Cup Series finale and sealing the Italian Championship, and a perfect year for the Rangoni Corsa team. David Pouget on the podium after his victory yesterday. Lorenzo Van Riet, we believe for now, has taken the Challenger class. No, it has gone to Guillaume Mao, excuse me. So that deficit not quite enough, but he does take the Challenger class win nonetheless, ahead of Alex Lancelotti, Giacomo Trebbi. Damiano Puccetti did win the junior class in 7th position overall, and that does give him the Junior Series Championship as well, with victory at Cristiano Ricciarini, the Italian gentleman class champion, with victory in 8th position overall. Nico Milan 9th in the end, Arduini in 10th position. And so of the 4 titles to be decided, it was Anthony Girardot in the Italian Championship, Damiano Puccetti in the Series Junior classification. Guillaume Mao is the Challengers Series champion, and Christian Ricciarini, the gentleman class winner in the Italian Championship. And I'm sure that Nikola Milkovic is a little bit confused as to why he's being asked to head back into the paddock while the car he beat to the line has been waved through, but won't have received the message because he thought he won. He had his thumb out of the car. That's Anthony Girardot in the Rangoni Corsa car. It's another 1-2 finish. They've had many of them so far this year, and the Rangoni Corsa team completing a sweep of overall championships in the Series, the French, the Mid-Europe, the Italian, and the Spanish championships. And David Pouget bringing home his 14th podium finish of the season as well, after his 4th win yesterday. But here is Anthony Girardot climbing atop his car as the Italian champion of 2024. Gabriele Torelli with a new lap record as well in 2nd position, 2:11.604, beating Massimiliano Donetti's 2020 lap record by a 10th and a half. And there is the sign, 2024 Italian champion. The Rangoni Corsa team has been doing a stellar job all season long. Of course, the celebrations, I'm sure, will go long into the night, as they will for Damiano Puccetti for his junior class and for Guillaume for the Challenger Championship as well. But there is Anthony Gerardo, helmet off. Clearly very happy with how the day has gone. What a remarkable end to the Clio Cup Series. It always provides such fantastic racing and a dance between Anthony Gerardo and Gabriele Torelli, who have worked together so well this year. You see them working together in the races to try and pull gaps together, not necessarily fight too much. And they brought home yet another 1-2 finish for the Italian team. Here's how it happened. Nicola Milan was on pole position. We talked about you don't get many lights to flag victories from pole position. This certainly was not one of them after a penalty demoted him to 9th place, but he did lead going into the first corner. It all got very close indeed, with plenty of cars having to take to the escape road. Ben Jenikins was the one spun around at the first corner. And so we did go under safety car pretty quickly to recover that car. And it was Alexander Lotti who got a little bit of a tap from Nikola Milkovic. I think that's what he got the drive-through penalty for in the end. We had the 43 Damiano Puccetti getting put into the side of. Ben Jenikins had his second contact of the day against the Milan Popovic car that ended up moving very slowly. Milkovic took the lead for a little bit as Lorenzo Van Rid was all over the curb and up on two wheels, battling with David Pouget. Nikola Milkovic took the win on the road, and Nicola Milan pipped Anthony Gerardo by 0.02 of a second to second, but they both had penalties, and Anthony Gerardo took the victory, and as a result, the Italian Championship as well in the Clio Cup Series, completing a clean sweep for the Rangoni Corsa team across the series, the regional championship, and the national series as well. What an end to the Clio Cup Series. Keep an eye on the socials at Renault Sport to find out more about the 2025 season. From all of us here at the Clio Cup Series, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next year.